Yeah, thank you. Hi, so I'm Jaeyoung. This is the work that we did together with Bart, Olivier, and Claudia. This is the seventh year we are doing this placing task. So just to give a brief description of what the task is about, it's given a video or photo. We want to see how we can place it on the map. In the other word, give longitude and latitude, the GPS coordinate. Or this year and last year, we actually provided a place hierarchy so that if you're not really sure with the exact geo coordinate, then you can select the node in that hierarchy to reflecting the confidence of your estimates. So in this example, this is one of the famous touristy spots in Amsterdam, so we'd like the answer to this photo to be located to this square that looks at both of these buildings. So a little bit of motivation behind why we are doing this. One example would be we can do a location-based search using the medias that were not geotagged. And so some of the tasks that are emerging are, one of them is called event discovery. It's trying to find events among the stream of multimedia data set. And it was proved that the time and location is very useful for discovering those events. So having the location estimate for non-geotagged item actually helps a lot. And there are other location-based services that can benefit from doing this. So this year we had two subtasks. Compared to the last year, we had locales and mobility-based subtasks, and we introduced two new subtasks. And we also provided the organizer baselines, the codes, and we continue to do the live leaderboard so that participants can see how they're doing. So the estimation-based subtask is similar to what we've been doing, but this year we gave the hierarchy of places. This hierarchy was drawn from the YFCC 100 and Places expansion pack. It looks something like country and the state and the city and the neighborhood, town. So for each of those photos, you'll have to estimate the GPS coordinate or choose the nodes from this hierarchy. If you're not really confident, then you might want to choose some upper level nodes, whereas if you're really sure about which town it's in, then you might want to either pick that specific town or either just give out the GPS coordinates. This verification-based subtask is you're given with this media item that we also gave the place hierarchy label, and you need to figure out whether it's actually placed in those place. So this is we introduced this task this year because, like I said, we've been doing this for 7 years, and it's really hard to motivate the participants to come up with something very new instead of sort of like incrementally adding some of the features to their existing system. So we wanted the participants this year to think about the notion of confidence. So, for instance, this example photo, it's in Amsterdam, but if we say, oh, is this Paris or France? And you will have to say whether, okay, this is yes, Paris, or no, it's different city or place. The baselines, yes, so we provided two open source baselines. You can find them on this URL. And also we continue to use the live leaderboard, and the evaluation was done on the part of the test set, not the whole set. And this year's data set, we had a bit of added items, but essentially it remains almost similar to the previous years. They are drawn from IC600M, and we only include the photos and videos that were successfully reverse geocoded. This is to ensure that every photo will have a matching node in the place hierarchy. We also provided features, textual metadata, as included in the Y600M, visual features, some of the features that we provided in the past. We also added CNN codes, which were contributed by by the community, and also the audio features. So the evaluation for the estimation-based subtask was done by measuring the geographic distance between the ground truth coordinate and the predicted coordinate. Or if you pick the node in the place hierarchy, then we find the centroid of that place node and measure the distance between the ground truth and the centroid points. And for the verification-based subtask, we measure the classification accuracy. We used Carney's formula to measure the distance. So we had 5 runs submitted. So the first one, you can only use text. Second, visual and audio feature. Third, it's a combination of run 1 and 2. And for run 4 and 5, you can use anything you want. For instance, this external geographic database like Gazetteers, dictionaries, web corpora, Wikipedia, whatever you want, except for crawling the exact items contained in the test set. So we had 3 submissions this year, 2 veterans team and 1 new team. So to give a little bit of overview of what the results look like. So we saw that it's still very hard to estimate the location using text in like 10-meter accuracy, which is the error range of the actual GPS. But still, we saw that 100-meter range and 1 kilometer range, we get some reasonable amount of photos placed in those error range. And if we zoom in, so if you zoom in, then we can actually see that it's really hard to actually pick the photo right in the exact location. So using the visual and audio, it's even worse. So text does provide very good insight into where the photo was taken from, but still it's not, so the visual features are working, but it's still not very powerful as text. And when we zoom in, then you can see that it's very hard. When 3 modalities were combined, we do see some increase in the performance, but it's majority of this based driven by the text modality. So visual does help when you do the fusion, but still text seems to play a powerful role. And when you use everything, it does, you get better performance. So it seems that using more data helps more than using Gazetteer. And for the verification task, we divided the labels. We switched the labels in 4 different ways. So remember, we had this place hierarchy in the neighborhood, city, state, and country, and we switched one of them by 25% chance respectively, and then we try to see how those affect the accuracy of the verification. And yes, indeed, it is much easier to verify that it's either right country or not. So nothing very surprising, but yes. And for the video, similar results. So this year, still not much visible trend. Participants tried very different methods, but one strong trend sort of is the language model, and similar research based in the visual features, and one team actually used generative programming. For the fusion of modalities, some team use just heuristic methods. So if there's any text that's meaningful, then they used it. If not, then they backed off to the visual feature. One team used the confidence-based metric to fuse the modalities, and the other team used sort of a ranking fusion method. External data helps, more data helps, of course. We also noticed that the photos are better geolocated than the videos, but not always. We think this is because for the videos we provided the frames, and it's easily, so when you look at the video, you can easily find that they are not really capturing the whole scene better than the photo. So maybe like how the user take the video versus when they are taking the photo, that kind of behavior may have contributed to this. And that's it. Thank you.